am Wendy Vecchi, and I am super excited to tell you about my new collection with Spellbinders. It's called Tabbed Classics, and there's where the name came from, that little tab. And here's my plan. I thought I would show you the product, tell you about why I wanted these dies, and then I'll show you some samples that I have done. So that's my plan. All right, so if you are familiar with my collections from Spellbinders, this is the Essential Envelope. So I have done this a million times. I absolutely love it, and I know you do too. So we have a really good add-on. So this is called Essential Envelope Everyday Add-on. So this is what it looks like. So if you take a look at the dies, we have a die that cuts out a tabbed insert, and we have a die that cuts out a front of the envelope. And I'll talk about the other ones in a little bit. So why did I want this die? When I did the Essential Envelope, I had done a lot of samples with it. And one day I thought, oh, this would be really cute. I'll run it through an embossing folder. Well, that was fine. The front looked fine, but the back was also embossed, and I did not like that. So I thought, okay, I'll just cut this front off, glue it on, and then I'll have a separate front that I can emboss. That did not look professional. So this is why we have the Essential add-on set. So this cuts a front, and it has all of the nice detail that you get from a die. So much more professional looking, and it's sized perfectly. It's really cute, fits on the envelope. It's a little bit smaller, and we did that so that you would have kind of a frame on the envelope. So that was one thing. The next thing, another reason I wanted this, besides the embossing, you can stamp on here, you could stencil on here, you could make your envelope from cardstock, but yet die cut this from a different color. You could die cut it from pattern paper. A lot of us have pattern paper that we don't use, so that would be a good way to use up some scraps. The other thing for me, I wanted to be able to cut different surfaces. So here is an example of the Essential Envelope with the little front, but I cut it out of perforated paper. And so that was really fun. I would not make the envelope out of perforated paper because that looks really crummy, but because I use cardstock, it's nice and solid. And this adds a really, really cute detail to it. The other thing I thought about was using fabric. So this is some wool felt. And I tried to make the envelope out of the felt, and it was really floppy and basically not cute. But if you make the envelope out of cardstock and just cut just the front from the felt, it gives it a whole different look, and it's still nice and sturdy because we use cardstock, but we get the detail of being able to add a different surface to it. And I think that makes it really, really fun. So the next thing is, if you follow me, I always want to do products that can do double duty and give you something a little bit different and something unexpected and a new way to use it. So if you look at this envelope front, obviously designed for the envelope, but what else can we do with it? We can make small cards. And this is what the envelope looks like glued onto the card. It's so stinking cute. So this is, I think 3 1/4. You can make the height as much as you want. Sometimes I'll do 5 inches, sometimes 4 inches, 4.5 inches. It just kind of depends on what cardstock I have left over and what I want to put here. So this is just glued on, but it's a really, really cute card. I like it a lot. Some other elements from this set. This cute little trim piece, and on here I used 2 pieces. I just kind of offset them when I glued them on, so a little bit more dimensional. Flowers I'll talk about later. I will put this thanks on here because I wanted you to know that these sets were all designed to work with sets from my collection that we already have. So everything is really mix and match, and that's really important to me. Okay, and I have one more example to show you that the envelope front fits on a card. So here it is again. Just a super stinking cute little card. They're really, really fun. They come together very quickly because they're small, and I like them because they're just a little bit different. One thing I wanted to point out here, I hope you can see that little bit of gold that's peeking out at the top of the panel there. That is actually one of these dies, but I have most of it glued behind the envelope front so that just that little bit of gold is sticking out, and that I thought was exactly what this card needed. But wait, there's more, just like the infomercial says. If we look at this little tabbed insert, very, very cute, and I'll talk about this next with the next product. That's the little tabbed insert. What else can you do with that? You can make a shaped card. So if you take a look at this, there's the tab here. So you can open it, so it's a side fold card, and the tab is off to the side here. That's how it will open. You can also do it just the opposite and use the tab for a hinge. So this is, again, a side fold card if you want, or it could be a top folding card. But that's not all. I don't have a sample done completely, but I think you'll get the idea. So I use the same tab die, and this can be used to make a little mini book. So you can just vary the size of the little file folder here. So here's what it looks like. Like I said, I don't have it put together, but I think this is going to be fun. So this could be a card with several pages, or it could be a little mini book. So I can't wait to take some time and play with this, because I think that is another way to use that tab insert, and it's really, really fun. And one more thing, let me clean up this here. One more thing with this die set. If you follow me, you know I love flowers. So we have really cute flowers and leaves on here. And like I said, these will be interchangeable with the sets that we already have. I call them frilly flowers. So there's a large frilly flower. There's a medium-sized one. We have a smaller one. We have a 2-leaf and a 3-leaf, and then a different style of leaf, and really, really fun. And then just a little teeny tiny flower center. And this has been a really fun set. So this one was called Essential Envelope Everyday Add-on Set. Let me clean this up and I'll get on to the next product. Okay, here is the next one. This is called Tabbed In and Out Sentiments. And one thing that I see people comment on a lot is, what am I going to put on the inside of my card? So I wanted to do a set that gives you a big sentiment for the outside of your card. That also works with the envelope, and then several choices for the inside sentiment. So this has been really, really fun. So what happens here, we have stamps. The stamp has the main sentiment, and then you have several different choices for your inside sentiment. We have sending a huge hug, sending feel better wishes, sending heartfelt thanks, wishing we were neighbors, wishing you the most wonderful day. We have one that just says pull, so if you want to put a gift card in your envelope, just pull. The pull works really cute for that. I made this for you. This fits really well on the back of the envelope or any card. We have thinking of you at this difficult time, thinking about how much I miss you, and then happy to celebrate your birthday, happy anniversary to an amazing couple, and happy that you're a great friend. So those have been really, really fun. I like that you stamp this stamp. It has all the main word and your sentiments, and then the die cuts everything out. So that is a time saver. And I'll show you a little sample. So keep in mind too, thinking about how much I miss you. So I just cut that first part off and just used I miss you, little flowers from the set, and then sending a huge hug. And then again, this is a tabbed card, so really fun. I think it's a little bit different and unexpected, and I like it. One thing I want to mention too about this, excuse me. Like I said, it has coordinating die set, but sometimes you might want to just stamp your word on your tab instead of having a die cut on there. And I cut stamps apart all the time, but this is one you do not want to cut apart because it has the coordinating die. So let's just say I wanted to stamp on here and I wanted to stamp sending. So I would take a Post-it note. I would have my stamp in my positioner, cover up the area that I don't want to ink with a Post-it note. So now I would just ink sending, probably jet black archival because that's what I like, and then stamp this on my tab. And these sentiments would not have any ink on here. So you can stamp directly on the tab too. If, for some time you might not want to have a die cut on the top. So that is the tabbed in and out sentiment set. I'll clean this off and go on to the next product. It's a good one. Okay, back again with the next new product, and this one is called Polka Dot and Posie Duo. This is a 3D embossing folder, and Spellbinders embossing folders I think are fabulous. I love the size. They're 5.5 by 8.5. So that allows us to add 2 A2 panels in here, 1 crank, and you're done with 2 panels. Or you can do 1 large piece, cut it in half, or leave it whole, maybe if you're going to do a home decor product or project. Okay, let me show you some samples on here. So this is what it looks like debossed. So this is actually the back side of what you get. So here's the little posies and here's the polka dots. And what you'll notice is that because it's a 3D folder, the larger dots are higher raised, and then the little dots are just slightly raised. So that makes a really, really cute pattern. One thing I like about this too, I like straight lines so that when you line this up on your panel, it's very, very easy with these straight lines to get it perfect every time. So that's what it looks like. And I wanted to show you some other examples. So here is what the posy side looks like. This is the embossed side. And then here is the debossed side. And I use both. I think they're both really, really fun to use. This is the polka dot side. And I hope you can see here that, like I said, the larger dots are raised higher, and then the little dots are not quite as raised. Really cute. And it's a small pattern, so this is something you can use on flowers or smaller die cuts. It works really well. And I like the back side too. The debossed side is what I just showed you on that card. So another fun thing we can do is to use parts of each pattern. So you see the posies on the left and the polka dots on the right. And you can vary this as much as you want. You could have the posies on the bottom, polka dots on the bottom, and then the back works too. And here's another example. I think this is really fun again. Polka dots and posies both. And there's the back side. And then you could do half and half. So you have half posies, half polka dots. It could go this way. So I think we get a lot of variety and a lot of variation from this one embossing folder. And I'll give you a quick look at this again. So this is this debossed, and there's so many ways you can ink this, and I'll be showing that in a lot of videos very soon. Okay, I don't want to say I saved the best for last, but I have to talk about this one a lot. This one is called the Thank You Bouquet. This is a 3D embossing folder, so it's 3D and it also cuts. So you get the 3D embossing folder plus the dies that cut out these images. So we have one main image that is a big focal point, and then I wanted to have the same flowers but individual so that we have a lot of options for using them. This set keeps me up at night. There's so many ways to use it, and I didn't really realize it when I designed it. I knew I wanted a large focal point image, but once I got it, oh my God, I just can't, you won't believe the samples. There are just so many different ways to use it. So you can get just the embossing folder with the dies, or you can get the bundle. And I suggest the bundle because the bundle includes the 6-piece layering set. So this is the stencils that will color in this bouquet. And you can use the stencils alone, which has been a ton of fun. And I did not really realize that when I designed them. I was really concerned about coloring this in, and that was really my main concern. But once I got the stencils here, you want the bundle, trust me. All right, so this is really fun. The detail is amazing on here. This is the better press cardstock, but you can use really heavy cardstock and it works just fine. I have samples using the front, so that's the embossed side, and the debossed side, and they're both really, really cool. So here is the embossed side. And if you take a look at the card base, that is the embossing folder. That's the polka dots, the debossed side. And so I cut into this with the large die and actually inset this die cut into it. So it's embossed, but yet it's dropped down into the card base. So I think it's a little bit different look. And I wanted you to remember that everything I have designed for Spellbinders is kind of a mix and match. It will work together. So you can see this pretty much is a focal point for a big card. Here is another example. This time I used the deboss side. And my background is the posie part of the embossing folder. So I like this one too. Like I said, I wanted separate little flowers so that we could use them on the envelope. So here's what you'll see here. Happy to celebrate your birthday. And the envelope front, I ran through the embossing folder too. That little bit of texture adds a lot. And here's the flowers again. You can see I went crazy with this making samples. It's just so much fun. So there's the flowers. Again, the tabbed little insert. Wishing we were neighbors. And that's really fun. And you can see how I cut the front panel from black, but yet it's framed from the cardstock envelope. And I like that a lot. All right, so I said you could use the stencils alone. And this is what I did on a tag. So if you think about trying to line up the stencils, I have a really, really simple technique so that you can work on any size tag. You can work on the envelope front. Really pretty much anything that you want. So I'll be sharing that tip pretty soon too. But this is really, really fun. Comes together very quickly and it's just really a ton of fun. And this one might be a favorite. So this is the perforated paper. And I just used the stencil this time, but it's a shaped card so it stands up really well. It looks really cute. Totally unexpected, and I really had a ton of fun with this, and I want to make about 25 more. This is really good. All right, so then back to my big die cut here. It's like, okay, I want to be able to use this another way too. So what can I do with this? I want to use it on the envelope, but just use a portion of it. So I'll be talking about how to do this. Again, this is so fun. Wishing we were neighbors. And if you take a look at this, so this is what the die cut would look like, the kind of the orientation that you see here. So I wanted a different orientation, and because I used the back side, the deboss side, this is what it would look like. So you can see you can use just different parts of it. So it doesn't look the same every single time. This one I'm not finished with yet, but I wanted to grab it and show you. So that is pretty much, let's see, what else do I want to tell you? Pretty much it, I think. I have so many samples done. I have so many Tip Tuesdays planned. I have had a ton of fun with this. I'm absolutely thrilled with so that Spellbinders got my ideas and they understood exactly what I wanted. I think things turned out really, really cute. They're very useful, they're very versatile, and I am happy. So I wanted to say thank you so much for your support. I truly do appreciate it, and I hope you like the videos. And I hope you don't get tired of me because I have a whole lot of tips and videos coming. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart.